Welcome back to our next part where we continue our solution of examples. So as I marked here, example 6.9, we are given two concentric circular coil like this one, two coils here given, uh, small of radius r1 and the other of radius r2 such that r1 very less than r2 are placed coaxially. Smaller coil of radius r1 and the bigger coil of radius r2, they are placed concentric and obtain the mutual inductance of the arrangement. So here we have to find the mutual inductance of this arrangement. So as you can see here, we are given two coils. Okay, let's draw two coils, the coil of the bigger radius and the coil of the smaller radius. Okay, and we are given the radius is not radii r1 for the smaller and r2 for the bigger. Okay, and we have to find the mutual inductance. So what we will do, first thing is, always you have to remember, here I give you a trick, because if you don't follow this trick then you won't have your answer. Okay, so must understand what I say. When we are given such arrangement, two coils, they are concentric, they are either of the square loop coil or the circular coil, no matter square loop given or circular coils given, the idea is same. What you have to do, you have always have to flow current from the bigger coil. You have to assume current is flowing in the bigger coil and flux that associates with the smaller coil. Okay, current must be from the bigger coil and flux must be from the smaller coil. Okay, so the area will always be from the smaller coil. So you have to always remember this, otherwise you won't have your answer. Okay, so suppose current is flowing through bigger coil, say I2, say I2. Okay, suppose here the current that is flowing through the bigger coil, it is I2. Okay, so the magnetic field will be produced due to I2 and that magnetic field will be associated with the smaller coil. Are you getting my point? The magnetic field will be produced by bigger coil and that magnetic field will be passed through the smaller coil. Okay, will be passed through the smaller coil. So the inductance actually will be obtained for the smaller coil. Okay, so mutual inductance, that flux is connected to the smaller coil, the current is flowing through the bigger coil. So M12, that is phi 1 by current is flowing in the bigger coil, that is I2. Okay, this will be our equation. You are actually it is fine if you don't write this M12 or M21, but I put here value so you can understand what is 1 and 2. So simple, the flux that is connected with the smaller coil, so I write is phi 1, and the current that is flowing through the bigger coil, so I write is I2. So why it is M12. Okay, so flux will be BA, this will be the flux. Okay, but here the magnetic field will be produced by the bigger coil, right? The magnetic field is produced by the bigger coil, so it is phi 2 actually. Okay, by I2. Okay, so the magnetic field produced by the bigger coil, you know, the magnetic field at the center of the coil, that is mu naught n I a, sorry, mu naught n I by 2r, but there is singleton, so mu naught I by 2r. Okay, this will be our equation, the magnetic field at the center. So magnetic field due to bigger coil, that is mu naught, the current flowing through the bigger coil I2. Okay, by 2r, that is 2 and bigger coil, so r2. So this value is for B2. Now for the area, what about the area? So that flux is connected to the smaller coil, so area of the smaller coil, always the area will be from some smaller coil. Here I explained you, okay, area always be from this smaller coil because this is mutual area. So area of the smaller coil pi r1 squared, okay, by, here is I2 in the division, so I2, okay, and simply I2 gets cancelled, and all is your equation, that is mu naught pi r1 squared by 2 r2, okay. So this is the mutual inductance of the system. As I said, you don't have to write M12 or M21, that will also be fine, but I has denoted 1 and 2, so you can understand the current is flowing in the bigger coil, that is I2, and the flux associated with the smaller coil, that is phi 1, okay. So you can understand that. So here we get our equation M12, that is mu naught pi r1 square by 2r2, and here our numerical ends, okay. Here again we written that M12 is equal to M21, that is the reciprocity theorem, okay. We don't have to prove it here, but that just mention of the reciprocity theorem. That means what? If we have if the current is flowing through the smaller coil and the same will be calculated for the bigger coil, then answer will be same, but that will be very complex, so just forget that. All you have to do is always flow current from the bigger coil and flux from the smaller coil, and always you have your answer. So let's move to our next example. Okay, example 6.10. Obtain the expression for the magnetic energy stored in solenoid in terms of magnetic field B, area A, length L of the solenoid. Another thing is, how does this magnetic energy compare with the electrostatic energy stored in the capacitor? Okay, this is very fine question, but I have just skipped reading the energy equation. આપણે એનર્જી ઇક્વેશન છે એને આઈએમપી ડિસ્કસ કર્યું હતું, એનર્જીનું ઇક્વેશન મેં લખાવી હતું એ પ્રમાણે તમારે જરા વિડીયોમાંથી લખવાનું છે, બટ વી જસ્ટ ડિડન્ટ ડિસ્કસ્ડ અબાઉટ the energy density here. So that's why consider this is very important, okay, very important, this one. So let's see, we are asked to find the magnetic energy stored in solenoid in terms of magnetic field. So in our equation there must be a magnetic field B, area A, and length L, okay. We have just derived this equation, the energy stored in the solenoid. So consider this is a solenoid, okay. So this is a solenoid for an example, okay, and the length of solenoid is say L, and the cross sectional area say it is A, okay, and magnetic field that is produced in solenoid say B, and that is current flowing, steady current at moment is I. So for this solenoid, the energy stored in solenoid, you write that energy stored in a solenoid, and that equation is energy stored in solenoid, that is UB, energy stored in form of magnetic field, that is half Li square, okay. We have derived this equation during our discussion of the energy in solenoid inductor, okay. So energy in a solenoid or energy in inductor, will be this equation. Okay, so we have to just find the energy stored in a solenoid in terms of area B, sorry, field B, area A, and length L. Okay, and that called the energy density. So in the chapter of capacitor, the second chapter, we just discussed energy density. Do you remember? Energy density. Okay, and in that equation we have seen that energy density rho, that means energy of the capacitor by the volume of the capacitor. Okay, so that we have discussed so far in the second chapter. Okay, but just I remember here, this is what we have seen, so just forget this part. In our case, we can write that the equation of energy UB is equal to half, you know, what is the inductance of the solenoid? Do you remember the equation, inductance of the solenoid? That is somewhat mu naught n square A by L. This was our IMP question, the inductance of the solenoid. Okay, and the magnetic field of the solenoid, that is B mu naught n by L I, mu naught Ni, so mu naught n by Li. So the I from this equation, that is B L by mu and n. Okay, so all you have to do is write this equation. UB, energy stored in the solenoid, that is half L I squared. Okay, then next step is half the inductance of the solenoid, that we have derived in one of the numericals, like I said, the self inductance of the solenoid. Okay, this one. Okay, mu naught n square A by L, self inductance of the solenoid. So just put value mu naught n square A by the length L. This is the value for self inductance of the solenoid. I square, I can be obtained from this B, that means the magnetic field of the solenoid. So I from this equation, that is BL by mu naught. So here is the square, so here is the square, so put value with the square, B square L square by mu naught square n square. Okay, this value with the square, and in this case, mu naught, one of the mu naught get cancelled, n square gets cancelled, one of the L gets cancelled. Okay, so our equation is half B square, half B square Okay, here is L, here is A, and mu naught in the division, okay, this is what the remaining portion of the equation above. Now here energy density. Okay, so this is our answer, actually this is our answer. The obtain the exponential energy stored in the form of magnetic field B, area A, L, length L. So all we have got here, B, L, A, that's all. But our equation that ended here, okay, can be discussed slight more. That means energy density. Okay, I just told you here energy density rho, that means U by V. Okay, And if we discuss the energy density, rho b, energy density means energy of the solenoid, energy of the solenoid by the volume. Okay, so energy of the solenoid, this one, half b square L area A by mu naught. Okay, this is the equation of UB by volume V, volume of the solenoid, that is area into length. Okay, you see here the solenoid having length A and cross sectional area A, so the volume, that is by volume AL. Okay, again A gets cancelled and L gets cancelled, and that's why our equation is half b square by mu naught. Okay, so what equation is this for? So this is the equation for the, for what? Energy density. Energy density means what? Energy per unit volume. So the unit will be like not just joule per meter cube, that is called energy density. So this is the energy density for the solenoid. Okay, you see here that same equation will be was derived for the capacitor. Do you remember? In case of capacitor, we discussed that energy density rho e, because there was the electric field, rho e, energy of the capacitor by volume and cell calculation can be carried out, and you will get the answer epsilon half epsilon naught e square. So this is the energy density in case of capacitor. Now, if you compare the energy density of the solenoid and the energy density of the capacitor, you will find some similarity and some contradiction here. The half here, so here also half. Okay, here the permeability is in division, but as you see, the permeability and permittivity, they behave just opposite to each other. That's why permeability is in division, so the permittivity is in multiplication, denominator, in the nominator. B square, so here is square, that similarity. So how does this magnetic energy compare with the electrostatic energy stored in the capacitor? So here, okay, here we are given that magnetic energy per unit volume, this was, we have written rho b. Okay, it is here small ub. So here this equation is derived, we derived that equation, b square by 2 mu naught. And for the capacitor, same equation is half epsilon naught e square. So this equation will be needed in the chapter 8, electromagnetic waves. Okay, so you have to remember this equation until then. So this was the discussion about the energy density. Now let's move to our next example. Okay, AC generator. So in AC generator, example 6.11, Kamla pedals a stationary bicycle. The pedals of the bicycle are attached to 100-ton coil of area 0.10 meter square. The coil rotates at a half a revolution per second, and it is placed in uniform magnetic field of 0.01 Tesla, perpendicular to the axis of the rotation of the coil. What is the maximum voltage generated in the coil? So here is the case of the case for the AC generator. As you can see, the portion of AC generator in which we discussed the maximum, what is said, the maximum EMF. Okay, I can show you here somewhere. Can find somewhere here if that is possible. In case of AC generator, Actually, it must not be saved. Okay, just forget that. Okay, forget that. Here we, you know that the EMF produce in case of voltage, the EMF produced in the generator, that is epsilon sine omega t. Do you remember? Okay, and for that equation, actually we obtain equation epsilon is equal to epsilon naught means what? It is n a b omega sine omega t, sine omega t. Okay, so this was our equation. We derivated the equation of flux and we obtained this equation n a b omega sine omega t. Here n a b omega means what? The maximum EMF. Okay, that is epsilon naught in short. So simply in our case, the maximum EMF epsilon naught is what? N a b omega. All you have to do is put the value. So in our case, Kamala pendle stationary bicycle of the bicycle, the pendles of the bicycle attached to 100-ton coil of the area. So here is the number of tons n, area 0.10 meter square, that is A. Coil rotates, coil rotates at half a revolution per second. Okay, so that's what you have to understand. Half revolution per second. That means what? Half revolution per second. So omega is equal to just half revolution per second, means uh, pi radian per second, pi radian per second. So that would be z if we write that the frequency, that is half hertz, because in second it just rotate half, so frequency is just half. We can put that value and we can have omega is equal to 2 pi f. And if you so write the equation 2 pi and f, that is half. So as you can see, the omega is equal to pi radian per second. So now just put the value n, that is ton, 100 tons, area 0.10 meter square. Okay, NAB, magnetic field 0.01 Tesla, 0.01 Tesla, omega, omega that is pi radian per second. Okay, pi radian per second. You hear, pi radian per second. By solving this, you will get 0.314 volt. Okay, so maximum voltage is maximum voltage is 0.314 volt. So fine, here the example 6.1 is completed, and thus the remaining I see here is this exercise, and we have to discuss all the numericals of the exercise except the additional exercise which is removed. So in next video we will cover all from 6.1 to 6.10. Okay, so this is just for the today.